Oof. Well, we might have a tough one here, folks. I just checked the statistics, and this one's a little bit ugly. Delhi versus Ottomans. Delhi, before the expansion released, they won an insane amount of the games. In fact, they won, believe it or not, 70% of the times they met on the leaderboards. These two, I'm hoping they're a bit close in the clash. Boys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome back to the competitive Age of Empires 4 action. Game number 2 of this playoff 3 between Valdemar and Gully Deckle. And Valdemar will be the ones with the favorite here. The 70% winners. It is the Delhi Sultanate. And across the way, on the vast fields of Dry Arabia, he'll be facing off against Gully Deckle, playing as the Ottomans. That's right. You heard that correctly. Delhi versus Ottomans, a 70% win rate favoring Delhi on the ladders pre-expansion between these two cities. Now, it's a bit tough to read fully into that because we don't typically see many Delhi picks in ranked in general. I would still wager Delhi are about a 60%, 65% favored matchup here versus the Ottomans, just because the tempo they play with. I mean, a big play point for Ottomans more recently is meant to be this power of the supply in the early game, but the reality is the Ghazi mirror that and actually exceed that incredibly well. And keep in mind that if you're thinking of those fast castle, fast Imperial builds that you've been ball-busted multiple times by from the Ottomans, you can't really do that in a matchup against the Delhi. The Delhi force you to play present in the feudal or risk losing the game before you can come online. So let's see how Gully Deckle is going to come online in this one. Wide arc here. Nice rotation from Valdemar, immediately taking advantage of the fact he doesn't have to bring sheep home due to gathering berries. Already has 12 sheep. Looks like Gully Deckle did play the east side corner, so Valdemar now needs to dash back to his side of the map, but this still looks like it could be a 2/3 yield of the sheep for the Delhi. This is one of the reasons why the Delhi is so strong. I actually think that, you know, a lot of people are trying to theory craft the different elements that make the Delhi the impressive force they are. The extra gold that they generate by taking sacred sites, the fact that Ghazi are just better horsemen. I actually think the number one thing, and it's actually also why Abbasids were dominant for a while, is the scout rotations. Scout rotations that allow you to not have to come home. Something that's unique to the Delhi, the Abbasids, and the Ayyubids. They can go for a much wider rotation, and you can already see that by the mini-maps here, right? This is Valdemar's rotation. Meanwhile, look at Gully Deckle's. He had to come home because we've all been there, right? We've all tried to do that wider arc, and then we run out of sheep at home. It's not something you have to worry about when you're a berry enjoyer. Just move straight out, and I think that's actually kind of a funny thing to consider here is for a long time, Abbasids were considered underwhelming. And funnily enough, the moment where they really started to surge forward, after a few tech up changes as well, I think was the moment when a lot of players just stopped doing this sheep opening. At first, there was this argument on whether you should be going sheep or mill. But nowadays, I want to say about 95% plus of Abbasid and Delhi players immediately play mill. Makes a lot of sense, right? Even if you are up against a civ like the French, this allows you to take the risky resource first and then play for something a little bit safer. Gully Deckle has arrived on the back side of this. Looks like Valdemar's already cleared that corner, though. So final yield should be 14 compared to the 10. So not too bad for Gully. Keep in mind, Gully has been actively clubbing the sheep, so they actually end up getting about a 50-50 split in the end. I think the gamble there for Valdemar is you saw he rotated to the back. If he went left instead of right here, I think this would have been him getting most of the sheep on the map. But it's always one of those kind of coin flip moments. If you don't see the enemy scout quite early on, you can't anticipate which direction they've been in already. God, I've started casting with the music on. It's actually kind of almost tranquil, right? Quite peaceful. Setups complete, though. Identical timing, by the way. Madrissa and TOV basically within a second of each other. And then Gully Deckle immediately into the military school. So on the other side of this, I'm expecting Valdemar to open the stables. It's a pretty standard format right now for the Delhi. The only time you do not open stables is when you're forced to open something else. That means, for example, we've seen a few matchups where because the opponent comes in with aggro play, for example, with Abbasid players when they go military wing, you have to open archery range or you lose. Other than that, expect every Delhi player, if they have a choice, to go for a stable to begin with. Scaling Ghazi is the most efficient way to move towards victory. Horsemen are an S-tier type unit in Feudal Age, and the Ghazi, I mean, they're S-tier plus. So I guess actually in fairness, I'd say Horseman is more like a... I guess they're almost B tier at this stage, but it's only because there's better versions of Horsemen and other civs. Blacksmith's also coming out fast. I don't think this is going to be a double Blacksmith's build. Sometimes you feel pressured to do it, but this is one of those matchups where I think it's a bit more efficient to just get the racks or archery range ready next. And it looks like we are going to be getting archer plays. So Valdemar going for it. I'd say the more favored of the comps right now. Delhi typically will go archery range plus stables over racks, 2-to-1 at the time. This type of game, this is going to be a 1-1-1 build. When you're playing against the Ottomans, because they have the flexi to go into Sipahi and archers, it means you have to tick every box. So I wouldn't be surprised if by minute 7, minute 8, we get a racks added in as well. Golly, you had to add in the blacksmiths. Finally coming. Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I think there's like an efficiency loss here by waiting that long to get the blacksmiths up. I mean, it's not going to scale much, but these initial Sipahi are critical, right? It's similar to the logic of what your first knight can do versus the next three, right? That first knight has a lot more openings. It's the same with the first Sipahi being generated. Same with the first Ghazi, and exactly why the Delhi want to open with it. That Ghazi's already marching around the backside. Now, remember, Sipahi and Ghazi are very similarly matched, but there is a difference here, and it's the cost. Sipahi are a bit more expensive even than Ghazi, right? So 140 resources for the Ghazi, 160 for the Sipahi. The problem you're going to have is if you're relying heavily on passive production, you're not going to get the numbers together. And it does mirror in the stats, right? You can see they have the same damage, but a lot more health on the Sipahi. On top of that, if you do manage to scale these armies into large numbers, Sipahi are better due to the fact that the second line of melee can attack, whereas Ghazi will have to wrap around each other. That issue, by the way, is a little bit lower with Cav compared to infantry. So I always state that as a huge deal when you think about spears and why Abbasid spear was so good. With cavalry, because they move so quickly, it doesn't hurt as much that they have to wrap around each other to melee. Right now, also, Valdemar has the number advantage that Gully Deckle shouldn't be looking for a fight. In fact, it's a mistake to come out here like this. He's trying to out-micro Valdemar, but Valdemar can easily just keep turning on this. The formation shuffle dragging the archers back. Sipahi get body blocked off. Beautiful maneuvering by Valdemar there. Archer's still not even going down. Finally one gets picked, but heavy damage in return on Gully Deckle. This is not a worthwhile trade. Remember the cost of these Sipahi, folks. Losing one of them and killing 2 archers is an even exchange, but this was not even. He almost lost a second Sipahi. His third goes down to half HP. This is a rough opening for Gully. Now he loses the other one. Great micro cross by Valdemar. Remember the other issue of playing Sipahi here? The downside is Ghazi are just faster, so they chase you down. This is a big part, by the way, of why Delhi's very dominant in this matchup. If you both open stable units like this, the rate at which Valdemar's able to scale is a bit better. And the difference is that Gully Deckle can't choose his fight. Valdemar can due to the movement speed advantage. So far, he's chosen them well. Archers are going to be spotted out. They'll move across to try and deal with the spearman, I'm imagining here. In fact, he ignores it right now. The spearman does get aggroed onto the archer, though, so another good trade here. Gully Deckle just can't seem to cut himself a break. As more spears get picked off, sure, the archers are going down, but I just want you guys to focus on the Ghazi numbers. That's what matters. That's going to keep going up. Behind this, Valdemar also now going up in Sacred Site control. Second one is locked in. Third one, now on the way. I actually can't believe how much Valdemar's playing up in his face with archers. Like, you should not be allowed to do this. This almost feels illegal, but it's just really well played by him. It's a bit tough with this meta here, but if Valdemar continues to scale archer numbers, eventually this meta is not going to feel safe. Oh, thank you. This is a great stream, but you know what makes it a great stream? The great players. Couldn't do it without them. Shout out to all the people who've been playing matches non-stop the last few weeks that we've been able to catch. Always love to catch some competitive AoE 4. Man, Gully Deckle, after that slip up in the other game, he is starting to get the numbers together. It just makes me wonder if he hadn't jumped the gun and thrown away his initial Sipahi, how much better he'd look right now. That being said, a win's a win, right? And right now, he's winning these fights. Good picks on the Ghazi. Lack of scholars from Valdemar means he doesn't have that heal force. I think he needs to take a breather for a moment, utilize this gold he's generating from the Sacred Sites, and look to heal up the Ghazi before re-engaging. Instead, he doesn't want to wait around, so does go in. Archer count does look like it might be good enough, actually. The Spearman count here, not that spooky. Also, keep in mind, by the looks of it, yeah, Sipahi did split off to go wide. I think that may have been a bit of a mistake. The timing from Gully Deckle, if he just waited on that a little bit longer, he could have taken a really favorable fight here in the center and then went for the decap on a delay. But I think he's kind of overthinking, over-freaking out about the gold generation here. Yes, it is a lot of gold. It's what makes the Delhi really just tick. But at the same time, because you just weakened your central hold, you're now going to get mirrored on these movements out. And the decap is going to be tight here. Oh, I think he actually gets it just in time because of the wolf aggro. Oh, that's so frustrating. The A-click from Valdemar, I think he would have actually just about stopped that from fully decapping if it wasn't for the interruption of Wolfie. Sacred Site being recapped, though. Wolves now going up this time. And this delay has actually hurt Gully's timings. Voldy does need to be a little bit careful about the way he takes these fights, though. Not enough spearmen here to defend yet. In fact, right now, they're just being thrown to the wolves. Sacred Site's being relocked. How are we looking at this stage? You'd think the longer that this goes on, the longer that we're stuck hard and feudal, the more it would favor Delhi, but that's actually not entirely true. The longer this goes in feudal with these type of trades, the better it gets for Gully Deckle, because Gully Deckle is going to get his hands on additional Vizier points. That's going to allow him to get things like the AoE heal. That's going to allow him to get things like the extra military schools. So there are escalation points to the Ottomans in this matchup. This game isn't simply over because we're stuck in a long feudal. Still, Valdemar walling in these sacred sites now is a problem for Gully, because decaps now require a bigger investment, a lot more time, and that means splitting your army up. That's really, I think, what makes the Delhi so frustrating with their ability to wall with their infantry, is that you have to react with quite a lot of firepower. They, meanwhile, only have to send nothing. They can just let you spend time killing a wall while they kill the other half of your army. And if you send the whole army, that just turns into a Benny Hills game where Delhi player captures 2 sacred sites, you only ever get 1. Clash in the center here. Sipahi are going to wrap around. That's a bit of a freebie being given over. The Spearmen walk into a spear on spear clash. A weird engagement to begin with from Valdemar, but does back up towards the tree line. Makes it a little bit fair of a trade, but that's still a lot more yellow bodies going down there. So good fight from Gully Deckle. Shout out also to Britboy as I saw him coming in with a sub. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate the sub support. Helps make these streams all the more possible. Valdemar, what are we thinking here? If you get a second Sacred Site, I think he's quite content with the game. I love the way he keeps sneaking the Scholar out over here, so he's going to go for the recap. In fact, that was pretty crafty. He hid the Scholar in the Stealth Forest when the decap came in. Pretty cool read. I wonder if Gully Deckle is going to be aware of it this time, because he's going to have to go back to decap with a single Sipahi. But he should know there's no way that a Scholar got back here this quickly. In fact, he's marching over pretty early. This might be the perfect read. I think the Sacred Site should still lock in just in time. In fact, this is, funnily enough, the difference in movement speed between Sipahi and Horseman. Horseman would have made this just in time. But Gully comes in with the decap. Oh, he sees him. Oh, wow. Yeah, Piety only just came in at 13.5 minutes. I feel like you usually have that a bit quicker here. I'm not a Delhi connoisseur, so maybe I'm wrong on that, but I genuinely feel like most of the time you do tend to see Piety by like 9 or 10 minutes. Just because of how valuable it is to make those scholars last longer. Even with it there, though, against one Sipahi and this much distance, there's no saving you. Ghazi do peel off, though. Gully Deckle about to get raided here. Not quick on the reaction either. Right next to the main army like this as well. Valdemar, he overstays his welcome and it costs him dearly. He killed what? 2 villagers? Lost 4 Ghazi. That's not worth it. I think Valdemar, like, he just assumed that was going to be a no-brain fight because Gully didn't immediately pull away. Looks away for a second, and then he's the one who's the fool for it. Flash on the south side can even up, though. These Sipahi do get trapped. Almost pulls them back there with the final Ghazi, but quick pull away there by Gully. Almost continue to scale. How are we looking at Vizier points? Yeah, 3rd military score has now been added in. So this is where Gully will start to escalate quite a bit. And Valdemar doesn't want to hang around in feudal too much longer. I think this matchup, despite the fact that it's favoring Delhi for the early feudal, the longer it goes, the more it kind of shifts the other way. So for him, the goal should be to slowly get out of this into Castle Age ahead of the Ottomans. And it looks like he is saving up for that now. Love the approach as well with his Ghazi. He just keeps going in, poking, forcing Gully Deckle to react to him, go on the defensive, poke the bear again, force him back. Always keep him on his side of the map so that when you are ready for this tech up, You don't ultimately just kick the can because of it. Gully's still only got 1 meta, right? That has got me a bit worried. At this stage in the game, with 30+ archers, 1 meta can basically just get sniped straight away. And that's a problem because you have to remember that Gully Deco has this very powerful aura, this attack speed moving with him. The Delhi match that. However, theirs is attached to all their infantry. There's no way to remove that factor. With the Ottomans, you just kill this 1 unit, and that entire aura deactivates. So that's something I think Gully Deco needs to be very careful of. Typically, at this stage in the game, players tend to queue a second meta. He's playing a very greedy game here on 1. Once again, the Ghazi go hunting. Valdemar knows his timings well, right? He knew exactly when to go for those berries, and now he knows exactly when to hunt for the deer. And there's 24 villagers out here. Now, this many Ghazi, even if Gully Deco insta-reacts, no armies nearby this time, so it's not going to be a punishment. It's not going to be Ghazi dying in return. It's just going to be villagers going down. So Valdemar shows up on the eco, immediately snipes 1 villager, moves in for more. Gully Deco, a bit slow with the reaction, finally pulls back. That's 2 villagers already down. It's probably going to be 3, if not 4. Meanwhile, raid on the other side, not going to be that successful. Sipahi do get cleaned up. And a good fight from Valdemar. Now with a 3 eco lead, slowly clawing his way towards that castle age. Both players are, in fact, but check this. It once again forces the entire army to come home to defend. Valdemar, a bit over-ambitious there. Will be wishing he had a scout with those Ghazi. Problem is he can't have the scout there because he needs to scout with the main army. The logic with what he's done here is that the Ghazi may run into trouble, but most of them can get away. If you run blind with infantry into the wrong area of the map, you're just dead. So it's really important to have the scout. And actually, what am I talking about? That's not even the scout. Where is Valdemar's scout right now? Oh. You're very ambitious, mate. Well, he should be with the main army, folks, because it's quite a blind game Voldy's playing otherwise. Tech up actually triggered first by Gully Deco. Kind of surprised on the timing here. Yeah, Valdemar, I think he got baited into reinvesting the Ghazi, and that slowed him down a bit, but Compounder Defender is on the way. However, although he may have been slowed down, keep in mind the military difference we now look at here. 91 to 68. That is a lofty difference. And now Sipahi being thrown away by Gully Deco. Big mistake there. What? I mean, and that's no small loss, folks. Sipahi are a very valuable unit, even in Castle Age. Throwing them away like that is problematic. I wouldn't be surprised if Valdemar starts to march forward here. Has still got to worry about a few Sipahi to the south side, so it looks like he's going to turtle a bit longer. But Gully moving the entire army forward here. I think he maybe got a scout on that. Yeah, I think the final Sipahi did see the compound of the defender, but I think Gully Deco's overplaying his hand here. If he comes a bit further forward, he could get annihilated. Also, keep in mind, by the way, usually Ottomans do just win this off of tech ups. Not this game. This is a game where Valdemar already scaled up to 8 scholars, so he has what he needs to not only hoover up relics, but also get his tech upgrades quite quickly. Ghazi, chase after the Sipahi. This is the danger of this matchup. Like, you just actually cannot raid with Ghazi, with Sipahi rather, because Ghazi move quicker. So you'll always, over time, just lose your cav. It's just a tough one. Dive into the base though. I'm just gonna be there to make that, to mirror it. Warlord's coming out now. Backstab coming in. That's gonna slow down the retreat a bit of Gully Deco. Gully realizing he overextended. The timing was actually terrible here. He didn't wait for the upgrades to come in, so now he realizes the mistake he made. I don't think he actually anticipated just how big this army was. Valdemar now able to start pushing. First Mangonel hasn't come out yet. And that's a lot of archers to be fighting into. Archer upgrade is going to be 4 minutes and 20 seconds away, but once these scholars return home with the relics, that speed is going to increase. In the meantime, archers finally upgraded are going to turn to fight. Backstab attempt, but it's only 3 Sipahi. Ghazi are going to be the big backstabbers. Come around the back. Valdemar, the perfect timing to arrive here. The kid is never too late. Spearmen archers are going to back away. Valdemar still with the mass on his side, but now up against men-at-arms. He's a little bit more scared. Prepping his own MAA, though. They finally started to arrive as well. Archers still trading pretty damn well here. Ghazi now able to peel off and go after the villagers again. And this fight, although Gully Deco will not die straight away here, it's still a huge archer mass that is whittling away as initial premium units. And wait, has Valdemar still not garrisoned the scholars? No, he hasn't. He's got 8 scholars in total, and 3 of them are being actively used here. Mora will return the relics, but this should be the point, yeah, where he starts garrisoning in. This is going to accelerate it. Valdemar, that's why he's backing up, because now he needs to wait for that upgrade. But considering he's going to have 4 of these scholars in, it's probably going to take him about a minute and 30 seconds, minute 40 seconds. Also, keep in mind now, because he's got all these scholars at home and this extra gold to build them, the advantage you get at the later end of Castle Age is a quicker tech unlock on all the blacksmith upgrades. Gully Deckle can't afford to match that because he's now scaling into men-at-arms and janissaries. And wow, he's actually, yeah, he's going imam. I mean, there is 1 relic here, but that's all he's getting off the map. People asking about architecture? Yeah, guys, it's only 15 minutes. Now it's 13 minutes. It's getting better. Wait, is he really? Like, really? There's no way you don't prioritize archer upgrade more here, right? Like, you have a quarter of your population in archers. Really surprised, actually, that Valdemar chose to just garrison in the Raxus instead, but I can kind of see where he's coming from. Like, if he thinks it's just going to turn into a big men-at-arms headbutt, then he's got production advantage. Flash in the center here. Archer's still getting actually pretty good trades because Gully Deckle has a lot of spearmen. And actually, here's the other reason why I thought he'd upgrade the archers quicker. For some reason, Gully Deckle thought he could go janissaries here. I don't know what made him think that that would work against mass archers. I think he believed that this would be the end of the archer mass. But Valdemar still getting insane value out of them here. The start steps back are on point, sniping the units down 1 by 1 before they can even arrive. For some reason, a villager was even out here because he's trying to wall him up. What? What is this wall attempt? Gully? I mean, I've heard of trying to contain the Delhi threat, but I'm not sure what the plan was with that wall. All right, Timmy, you've now got a Goliath task for your life. Continue. Oh, sorry, Timoret. Oh my god, that felt like such an unnecessary loss. I mean, in fairness, Gully is going for a second TC, so he can kind of afford that. Keep in mind, though, he should be up against Compound Defender Village Fortresses eventually, but... Oh, Valdemar, we need to talk. You ever get the feeling Valdemar ends most of his games with Field Age? I'm getting that. I'm getting the feeling he doesn't usually like Delhi Castle. That... Oh my god. If that misclick costs him the game, there's no way he intended Core Architects first. That takes 20 minutes without tech escalation. Oh my god. Well, the base is going to be a lot more tanky in 10 minutes. Oh my god, I can't believe. Okay, hear me out, guys, hear me out. This makes a lot of sense. Right now, he has no castles. Village fortresses would benefit no one, right? But think of all the buildings he has. He has over 20 buildings. They'd all get Court Architect. Okay, he fixed it. The fact that he didn't notice for several minutes, though, is problematic. He could have had village fortresses by now. So this slows down his timing, because I do believe Valdemar, yeah, he'd already started to gather the stone. He'd already dropped a keep, so... Oh my god, he only noticed because he built the keep. This is one of those classic moments, like, you know, when you watch your villagers walking, you're like, wait, they aren't moving very quickly. And you go, oh, I forgot wheelbarrow. It was like that for Valdemar. He's like, all right, castle up, build the farm. Wait, what? Why aren't you guys dropping off at the right location? What's going on? Oh, the village fortresses. Okay, so that does mean that Gully Deckle isn't dead yet. If village fortress is already in, this would be problematic. Oh my god. I know what I'm naming this video. Gully Deckle. If he started marching forward now, it probably would have been the best time to attack, but I think he's showing respect. I think he's showing a bit too much respect. It's like Valdemar must have multiple TCs now in the form of castles. I cannot breach that base. For village fortresses is too strong and OP. If only he knew. Castle now going up on the center means that it's not going to be an easy dive point. Gully Deckle could try to ironically capture the sacred sites here and force a win condition off of those. That would force Valdemar to come out, but The issue is Gully Deckle, his army is of two minds here. One is mobile, the other is slow. So if you're trying to play a wide map, it's dangerous, which is why he's setting up these long wood walls. Instead, Gully Deckle starts to march in here. Walls are already up on the eastern flank, so there's no backstab opportunity. Honestly, I mean, I'm kind of just expecting Gully Deckle to go Imperial Age here. I mean, we are at that stage where you kind of get it for free. Valdemar slipped up big time. And now you can reap the rewards. There's not much to stop you. Instead, it kind of just feels like Gully diving unnecessarily here. Little choke point in that wood line. He thought he'd actually be able to sneak in. He forgot there are outposts and keeps everywhere that see every move. So, Gully, I think this is calm down time. I mean, this stage, right, he's got so much passive production. He's got the quadruple military school and a Mehmed Imperial Armory. I think you don't actively produce any more military here. I think you just go for that imp timing. He'll probably want to do a farm transition before that, though. And yeah, that is now on the way. So we'll probably be looking at, I want to say, 20 farms set up. And then you should have what you need to start moving up an age. How many of these castles do we now have from Mr. Valdemar? Well, they can now function as keeps, so this is where he should start to scale his own eco ahead of his opponent. He's now at 3 TC effective. I wouldn't be surprised, yes, 4th being added in on the stone outcropping now. So he will reach max eco first, but that means that Gully Deckle theoretically can have a bigger military force for at least one big engagement. I do wonder, though, in this type of game, it's a little bit surprising to me how many Janissaries is building. Because you shoot Janissaries earlier on, right? Valdemar still has a decent number of archers, but this feels like the type of game where he could easily just still play into crossbow archers and destroy you, right? In fact, he might have to play into archers. He's running out of food pretty fast here. More farms are coming in. More keeps as well. So we're getting the 5th castle now added in. Oh, sorry, 4th castle. 5th TC. Sassy, please don't go. Like, you don't need to rush this now. You're literally in comfort territory now. This would be pretty impressive, actually, if Gully Deckle can do this. Like, I reminded people about these win rates. Even now, I'd say Delhi are about 60-65% favored in this matchup. They usually dominate the early game. And here's the incredible part. Valdemar actually dominated the early skirmishes, yet Gully Deckle found his way through to this point. Now, looking as strong as he ever has in this series. Now, I hate to be the burden of bad news, but we have to remember that Gully Deckle already has made a name for turning around the unlosables. I'm hoping, praying even, that he's able to play clean here. Mainly because I like to have tight series. We've had a lot of frios in the group stage of Chiefs of Warchief. It'd be cool to see Gully Deckle keeping this series 1-1 going into the final game. Obviously, it's a play all free. Every game is worth something, but it's always nicer when you have it come down to a decider. And a fair point coming in from one of the most prolific Ottoman fanboys in the world there. Sassy pointing out, if you're not fighting when you got 200 pop, you're basically losing resources. It's true. Right now, you just got these military schools that are going to be pop-locked like this. So, doom. It's just wasted opportunity here. Even Siege now going to be backlogged. So, the fact that Gully Deckle backs up entirely for upgrades is really surprising here. And this is why I wanted him to go for Imperial Age before reaching 200 pop. I'm going to see the Janissary guns upgrade coming in 30 seconds. Valdemar now moving forward and on his way up as well. Pass of the Sultan being built. So, funnily enough, despite the fact he is up against gun, and although I have definitely on repeat said gun beat elephant, Valdemar say no, gun on elephant beat gun. Jesus. I cannot fault his logic. Complete slowdown now. Let's check vision-wise. Do they see each other? So Valdemar scouts out the Sipahi mass, but Gully Deckle only just got sight of the main army. Mango's moving up now. Only 2 of them, free from Gully Deckle. Mango shots coming in. How did that reach the Janissaries? Good lord. Reload coming in as well. Second flurry coming out from the back line. Heavy damage from the Janissaries. Springle's trading out in the meantime. All of the siege dying from Gully Deckle, but the backstab does come in from the Sipahi. Mango's now going to be overwhelmed. A great fight out of Gully Deckle and Valdemar. At a critical point and juncture, chooses the worst possible time to fight. He's out of troops. Down to 13. This might be over. Gully Deckle has to know how big that was, how huge of a win it was. This should be it, surely. The only way I see this not working is if he just spends too long trying to kill the wrong thing here. Castle now going to be dove. And torches out. Gully Deckle already prepping the great bombards behind this, but this dive should do significant damage. New Mangonel coming out. Does not turn around for a shot onto the Janissaries. Really surprised by that. Just trying to get it away to safety. But against Sipahi, good luck with that. Oh my god. Dude, that fight from Gully. I mean, the Mangoes, they look like they were starting that off well. Sure, they kill the Janissaries, but the time it takes 2 Mangoes to do that much damage, so much is lost on the front line. Like, these Janissaries really do just tear down anything in front of them. Gully is going to back away, but this is only temporary, folks. It's because he hasn't got enough damage to take out the keep. And he's probably too scared that Court Architectures is probably still 10 minutes away, but might get there in time. We know it's only 4 minutes away. But the more important detail is he's waiting for the Great Bombards. He also does have all 3 Sacred Sites still locked in, so Gully Deckle realizes right now the only way he clearly loses this game is if he throws away the army immediately. What I would like to see him doing is actively producing bombards. Right now, he needs to kill off more of his units, like maybe just send in the Sipahi, because he's got great bombards waiting to be born here. And they can't come out until Papa says so. Voldy. He actually kind of gets an opportunity here because of what Gully's doing. Gully just needs to keep pressuring, right? Sure, I agree. Do not dive the keep. The keep is... diving the keep, rather, is stupid. Go around it, though. Literally, go on the flanks, raid, right? That's what this Sipahi are now meant to be for. It almost feels like he was waiting for biology, but that feels like a bit of a blunder. You know, this stage in the game, we are 5 minutes out from those upgrades just funneling through, but that can accelerate for Valdemar. He's got 15 scholars right now. Sipahi are now going to run into the wrong area of the base, unfortunately for him. Keep in mind that that idea of passive production, there's 2 sides to this. There's a fair one that Sassy said, which is if you're at 200 pop, you're not getting passive production anymore. The other side of it is the Delhi are getting passive production as well. And these elephants aren't as much of a joke as you'd think. If you get enough of them, they're like Gallagher's. So I am a little bit worried right now that Gully Deckle is playing too slow. He still doesn't have his first great bombard because he won't actually lose units. Oh, come on. Just let something die. The problem as well is he kind of needs additional units to die. Otherwise, these bombards are never coming out. Remember, they take 4 pop. So if he doesn't lose like 10, 20 units all at once, he's never going to get a great bombard out. Oh my god. This would be the most painful... Actually, no, let me think about it. Would this be more painful than game number 1 to lose like this? I can't tell. It feels like Gully Deckle is finding the most atrocious and painful ways to lose games. Finally, though, 1 bombard emerges. Only 1. Please tell me it was the free one. Thank God it was the free one. This one's still waiting. Has been this whole time. He's like, yeah, I'm almost ready to come out and fight. No, no, no. Hold on a little bit longer. It's not time. Don't push yet. Gully Deckle genuinely is that midwife that just says, hold on, okay? It's not time for baby to be born. Castle attempt by Gully Deckle is going to be pushed back here. Tower elephants trying to whittle away at the Sipahi, so it's going to be a retreat back from the crossbows. Janis are able to wipe this, man. Janissaries are so harsh to deal with at this stage in the game. Castle is looking like it could go up for Gully Deckle, though, so that's a good step in the right direction. We are 4.5 minutes away from victory. Chemistry is also coming in about 30 seconds, so This is a scary point right now for Valdemar. I mean, Valdemar realistically actually needs several more minutes. You can see the Elite Army Tactics still 4 minutes away. The Howdah still 1 minute and 30 seconds away. I don't really know why you want Howdahs, but sure. If he can't break this with 10 elite Gunner Boy Elephants, then this unit needs buffing. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, go on, Elephant. Mighty Morphin Elephant power. Good lord, he almost died there. Whew. Janissary is targeting the wrong thing. All Gully Deckle needs to do in this fight is click that really big hitbox. Like, all he needs to do is not a click. All he needs to do is, there it is! Cannon beats Elephant. Don't you forget it. Valdemar now feeling a bit awkward that he has almost 40 of his population into elephants. He should feel awkward. Remember, these elephants... Sorry, not 40, 30. These elephants take up 3 pop each. And they're kind of going to struggle to touch anything before dying. But we are at boom shakalaka time, folks. Gully Deckle kept us on the edge of our seats. He kept our head mashing into our keyboard. But he now has the triple Great Bombard. And you know what I say, guys? Gun beat Elephant. We agreed that actually maybe Gun on Elephant beat Gun. But there's no doubt in my mind, Cannon beats Elephant. Cannon beats everything. Great Bombard is now sieging into the keep. Keep that does have the core architectures. Where are the rest of the elephants? Oh wait, no, I'm an idiot. That's just the population, isn't it? Yeah, my brain. I always forget that number because we never see elephants. But yeah, folks, that is just 4. He doesn't have 12. I wish Valdemar had 12. It would maybe look a bit more competitive here. I actually think even with 12 of those elephants, he'd still lose. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they fixed this for tower elephants and war elephants, but they didn't fix it for the Sultan's tower elephants. So that is only 4 tower elephants, folks. He hasn't got 12. Right now, don't go, what's Valdemar doing? Why is he throwing the game? Where's the rest of the elephants? He literally has 4 of them. And the reason why Gully Deckle goes back, folks, because Sacred Site's coming. So Valdemar has been skirting these fights, trying to stay alive off the back of scaling elephants. Now he has to come out. Problem with that for Valdemar is he's still not ready with the tech upgrades. He's not at full strength. Zeal would go a long way here, if only he could get it. Wall actually paying dividends, folks. Oh, that's going to be a massacre. Oh, Valdemar, buddy. I think it's going to be go game 3. Gully Deckle, what an impressive performance here. Feels like this game should have been over in Feudal, but found a way to thread the needle. Finds a way into the Ottomans' strongest point in the game. And there's a reason why Ottomans is a top 4 pick in AoE 4 right now, and it's once it reaches this stage of the game, they look unstoppable. Cannons. Ooh! Right in the... Well, it definitely wasn't kidneys, I think torso. Cannonball definitely took out the torso. And he just calls it. He doesn't even try. Valdemar, it's got to be game number 3. I'm not surprised there. There's no breakout at that point. GG. 1-1 apiece. A very close series on our hands. A very much needed recovery for Gully Deckle after what happened in game 1. Means we've got a very exciting series on our hand. If you do like what you've been seeing here, folks, if you are enjoying the content, make sure you are following, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you've got notifications turned on so you can catch every one of these games as they happen live. We'll see you in the next one.